Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another chat with Castles, Capes, and Clones. This is where we discuss everything in the I was going to say in the Marvel universe. We do talk about everything in the Marvel universe, but also the Disney universe and the Star Wars universe. So, anyway, oh hey, Cammy, how are you? We're just getting started. So, we are switching it up a little bit this week. We are doing we're going to talk about the news like we normally do, but we're going to talk probably very briefly, and then we have a fun discussion that hopefully everybody in the chat can be involved in, and we're going to basically be fan casting the X-Men, who are going to be coming to the MCU soon. So anyway, get your creative juices going, think about it, and we will talk about it at the end. So anyway, I'm here with, as always, with my cousin and co-pilot, Cousin Rich. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Oh, we've got Karen. Karen, how are you? Thanks for
Hello.
joining us. Um, you're doing well?
Yep. Well, yeah. How are you?
Same. It's same old, pretty much. Oh, hey, DC, how are you? Thanks for coming.
Hello, hello.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and get to it. Because we're, like I said, Cammy was here for it. Hey, Melix, how are you? Um, we are going to actually talk briefly about the news, hopefully briefly. We have a little bit to talk about. So, and then we're going to have a fun discussion. We're going to fan cast the X-Men because they're going to be coming soon to the MCU. Anyway, so in Marvel news, we're going to start with Marvel news. First of all, we want to send our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of William Hurt, who played Thunderbolt Ross in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He passed away this week. And Rich, do you know what he passed away from? I'm not sure.
All their I think family said was natural causes, so there wasn't
No,
really
it's
anything.
just so sad because he was still fairly young, right? Like I don't even think he was in his 60s, was he? Oh no, he was.
No, he was
He
in the
had to have
70s.
been. Yeah, yeah, he had to have been.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's very sad, and we will miss him because he was such a great part of the MCU, and you know he went all the way up to being Secretary of State. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a wonder. Like, I mean, it sucks. It's like he's been part of movies I love since the 80s.
mm-hmm.
Probably when movies in the 80s I shouldn't be watching as a kid, but whatever. Um,
Yeah,
But as Thunderbolt Ross, he's a major presence. I feel like he was going to be another major presence in upcoming shows, like
mm-hmm.
especially like Armor Wars, possibly Secret Invasion.
Yeah, he would have had him in Secret Invasion.
So I
So,
wonder if like I on like it's another one of these like they could recast him, but I feel like William Hurt's so iconic as an actor that
mm-hmm.
it's like you're gonna be like, yeah, but that's not William Hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So I wonder
definitely.
who they like character wise. I don't know. Like there's other politician, military characters in the MCU.
Yeah,
So I
they're
wonder if
probably
they'll
gonna go
find
with that.
somebody and bring that person up because like they could easily explain his absence, right? So
Yeah, well, he's Secretary of State. I think they switched administrations for Secret Invasion, so he
right.
would have. not been Secretary of State anymore.
Yeah.
So
The only thing is if they ever brought in Red Hulk, and
yeah,
specifically the Thunderbolts as a
right.
actual name of a team.
Yeah,
Only because it's unless they can also explain like he started it and then maybe he passed and then they just named it after him because he's such a big
right.
part of it. So I have a feeling the MCU will do something for him, right?
Yeah,
Like, that's one of the things about the Black Panther or Wakanda Forever is like I wonder what they're gonna do
yeah.
to honor Chadwick. And so
That's going to be very interesting. So
yeah,
anyway, well, our condolences to his family and friends. Sad way to start off, but let's just go ahead and move forward. According to industry production reports, there is a Daredevil reboot in the making, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit. But Daredevil just moved over to Disney Plus from Netflix,
mm-hmm.
and Charlie Cox has been very, like, dodgy about, saying things about how he's been reading up on his Daredevil and doing all these things that kind of like make it sound like he's preparing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and of course, he had that great cameo role in Spider-Man,
Spoilers.
and so we're expecting him to come back anyway. So this is kind of not a surprise, but it's kind of more like how were they going to bring him back? Um, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in She-Hulk.
It makes the most sense to see him first in She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously they've either finished or they're just wrapping up filming that series.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense. He's a lawyer. She-Hulk's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Obviously, like from Spider-Man, he is lawyering a superhero. So hope maybe he's involved that way.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just curious if they're doing this. We have Daredevil, Charlie Cox, and we have Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin already in the MCU. Are they going to bring on some of the other cast members? Because you got to see a Foggy. Karen Page is a big part of his story.
Yeah.
So
And I
he's
love
able
them.
to, yeah. So
And DC is also saying as long as they keep the same cast, he's okay with it. He also said, "Wait, he was in Spider-Man," and when I read that, I'm like, "What? You didn't see him in Spider-Man?" But
I mean, it did just come out on digital, so there are people probably haven't seen it yet who didn't want to go to a theater.
Yeah, but DC I know has seen it, so that's why I was like, anyway, yeah. So that's gonna be fun. Moving on, Deadpool 3 has a director, Sean Levy, who directed Free Guy, which was a lot of fun, and the Adam Project, which I haven't seen yet, but
Yeah,
it's
it's on my list. Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And when they'll talk about this next, soon, but with things happening at Disney Plus, the notion that Disney wouldn't do a rated R Deadpool movie, like it's not going to be called Disney's Deadpool. Did I say Daredevil? Deadpool. It's going to be a Marvel Deadpool.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't named any of the Marvel Disney. None of Marvel. They've kind of, unlike Star Wars. Star Wars they put under the Disney brand, but Marvel they have not. So,
Right.
and I think it's probably because they're going to be doing things like this. And I just wanted to say hi to Ginger. Hi, Ginger. Thanks for coming. Yeah. So thanks to this, thanks to Deadpool, you know, I think that they're not putting Marvel in general under the brand, but it will be. It'll be cool. I can't wait to see Deadpool 3 and Free Guy. Like if his work on Free Guy is any indication, I think he's going to be great.
Yeah. Is it on? Wait, is it a Disney?
Plus?
Is it on
Yep.
Disney Plus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got it a while ago on just digital. So I was wondering if it was going to be on Disney Plus anytime. But there you go. You can watch it. I would.
Yeah, they added it like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fun.
All right. So moving on, we have a new Moon Knight. We have a couple of new Moon Knight spots. We're getting very close to Moon Knight starting up on Disney Plus. I think it will push rated R, but stay right under the line. Probably. I tend to agree with you, DC. Okay, so there are a couple of new Moon Knight spots because we're getting close to Disney Plus, to it airing on Disney Plus. So there was a like a TV spot, which I think is playing right now, which I thought was interesting because in that spot I had the closed caption on.
Yeah.
And so it showed he was talking to himself on the phone.
Yeah.
Which was very interesting. I think this thing is going to be. I can't even wrap my head around it right now. Because I think it's just going to be so. And we say this every time they have a Marvel show, but it's going to be so different from the last show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about Marvel. And we're going to talk a little bit about another project that's coming up that's going to have an entirely different feel. But they also had a clip. They aired a clip which was terrifying. Look at that.
Yeah. I'm surprised they played this whole clip. Like we've seen bits and pieces of it, but like it gives you a definite like creepy.
I can't tell if that's Khonshu, who is the one who gives him the powers, or there's also a because that looks like a crane head or a
looks like a like a bird like kind of thing.
like a bird like head, which would be the god Thoth, the Egyptian god Thoth. So I don't know who that is, but creepy. It's
like that.
It's awesome. I really like it.
It's funny, like you mentioned, like he's talking to us on the phone. Like I thought he was talking to himself on the phone. To me, it sounds like he's talking to a recording or like a.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering if he like talks to himself.
The Mark version of him, I think, knows more than the other one. What's his name?
David, I think, or Steven,
something like that.
Yeah.
And almost like like how not like Memento, but like Memento, he'd tattoo like messages to himself and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But something like that, like he knows, so he's leaving little things for himself to find. But I don't know a lot about Moon Knight, so this is all pretty exciting because I have no expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't read Moon Knight since it like first came out way back. I picked up a few issues, and I know that they've gotten more into the multiple personalities and things like that, and brought on new persona outside of just the Moon Knight himself. Mm-hmm. So I'm here for the ride. I'm excited about it. These new spots and clips have gotten me even more excited about it. I'm sure we're going to get more clips as we go along. Like they always like to show more clips. So we'll, keep everybody updated.
We got like 10 days.
10 days. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
All right. So the big trailer that came out was Ms. Marvel. It was totally unexpected. I'm just like, puttering around all morning long. I go finally sit down at my desk at noon, and I all of a sudden see all of these Ms. Marvel trailer has been released, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my God. I scrambled so hard to get a reaction video out there, which fortunately has become a lot easier for me to do. So that's really easy for me to just like throw that together. But what did you think of the Ms. Marvel trailer?
I liked it a lot. Like I like the vibe, I like the feel. Like I hope it's like, so this aesthetic, like they were showing on screen, like
Yeah,
you can tell she's daydreaming or whatever, and it feels very Scott Pilgrim kind of thing.
very Spider-Verse too.
But it's got that rectangle, like it's cropped, right?
Yeah,
It's got that kind of animated thing, but like in a moment you'll see her snap out of it, and then it goes to full screen. So I wonder if that's the aesthetic that the show's going to have. See, and now it goes to like she's back in reality. I wonder if that's going to be an aesthetic that's going to be in the show itself.
I hope so. I hope that they maintain some of that like thought bubble kind of comic book or comic strip even aspect of it, because I think that's a lot of fun. And all the reaction videos that I've seen for this, they've also been praising that kind of comic book feel as well. And what do we think about the power change? In the comics, she was an Inhuman who could basically embiggen. It's called embiggen, and in fact, I can't remember what dictionary added it to the dictionary, and but it's called embiggen, and she can embiggen her like herself, her hands, basically kind of like Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four, but a little bit different. And in this one, it looks like she's getting her powers from these two bands, which we'll talk about in a second, that give her some kind of cosmic power. In fact, he says that she feels cosmic. Yeah. So how do you feel about this change?
I have two things about it. Like, I think with the Fantastic Four on the way, it's too similar to Mr. Fantastic. And I haven't seen anything that makes this power look good on any kind of live action screen. Right. Especially for a TV. And like you gotta remember, this is still a TV show, and TV shows tend to have the smaller budget. Like, granted, Disney and Star Wars and Marvel have probably higher budgets, but they're putting all these shows together at the same time, and that's going to eat into their budget. So I feel like that aspect is part of it, but this also makes it, when she says cosmic and you'll see these bands here, and even when she's activating her powers and stuff, it looks very much like Captain Marvel. It looks like Monica Rambeau. And we know they're going to be in the next Captain Marvel movie called The Marvels. And I think all their powers are connected to
the powers,
the Infinity Stones. Not just us. I think because the Captain Marvel got hers from the
Power Stone.
Is it from the Power Stone?
Yeah. The Tesseract was the Power Stone. Or what's
that? Wasn't the Power Stone the one that was on Nowhere? Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, what's that? No, I thought that was a reality show. No, reality was on Asgard. I can't remember now. Oh my gosh. Well, wherever she got it from, I think it would have either been the Power Stone or the Space Stone. One of those stones was the one that gave her power.
I mean, I really think that it's all connected to the energy of the stones that have been destroyed, because you don't destroy that power; it just goes somewhere.
Right.
And I think we saw like Wanda kind of harness one of the stones to Vision Stone, whatever it was on his that he had to recreate Vision. I think Captain Marvel's got something, and then I think these are different because if you look at their powers, they all have a different. Like Marvel seems to differentiate people's powers by color.
Yeah.
And hers is a different color than Monica Rambeau's was. It's a different color than Captain Marvel's.
Yeah, that's true. Monica Rambeau's was purple. Captain Marvel seems to be yellow. Although yellow is a mind stone, so that didn't make any sense. And then this is blue. Karen is saying, I feel lost about Ms. Marvel. I need to watch a trailer. Yes, watch a trailer. I think you're going to enjoy it. I think this is going to be a series you're going to enjoy, and Andy will probably enjoy it. It's set more for younger people. It's basically Turning Red, but with superpowers.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like this is definitely, some people like it looks too kid-like, blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, because it's meant to be.
It's meant for
Kid,
younger audience,
a young adult audience, right? So they have someone now that they can,
up to.
Yeah, and I think this also ties in. This also could tie into the 10 Rings, right? Because if you look at this band, and look at 10 Rings, it'll look very.
They do look
similar, right? So wherever this power comes from could be that as well. And like if you like this whole like she doesn't stretch thing and whatever, there are hints of it.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it. But like,
are you looking for the embiggen part?
There's a shot of her using her power. I think I might have missed it. But like when she's somewhere, I don't know. Let's just play it. That if you really look at it closely, she looks like she's stretching.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be as prominent, but I think it does. She does have something similar
that's when she embiggens, like when you see her fist and goes out.
Yeah,
that's very much a callback to the comic.
Like she's like not. She's got a little bit of short stature, so these are like she looks lengthier here than anything. Right there. That doesn't look normal human.
No.
Proportions. So I think there's part of it there, and like her traveling power is like she embiggens herself and just kind of like, walks. Really.
Yeah.
Right. And this scene at least kind of feels like she's doing the same thing ish.
Right.
So I don't know. I think I'm fine with it if it's explained that it ties into the cosmic universe and it's similar in the characteristics of it are there.
Yeah. Right? I agree. I was at first very apprehensive about it because I love that embiggen power that she has. But I think that the way that they kind of are setting it up, like that it will be connected to Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau, and all of them have similar, come from a similar source. I think that that makes a lot more sense. And the fact that they did a callback to her in Big in Power, with the fist, I think that was enough for me. And it'll be interesting to see if this will be the best Green Lantern movie that we'll see.
Probably.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on, just because I just want to keep a good pace, so that we can get to our final topic. So Disney Plus has added the Netflix Marvel Defenderverse shows. So Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and they're kind of team up the Defenders.
And the Punisher.
And Punisher. Punisher is another one, which is probably the most violent of them all.
Yeah.
But Karen, that was one of my favorites with Jessica Jones. So anyway, they are now giving users the ability to restrict on actually many different levels of ratings, and you can choose. I think you can choose different, like TV 14, TV something. So you can choose what level you want your kids to watch, and TVMA is like the highest level. Obviously, there's nothing more than that, which is mature audiences. So yeah, I think that's exciting. I think it also allows them to eventually add Deadpool once the licensing ends on wherever it is right now, and then probably other things that I can't think of right now, other movies and TV shows that they might want to add.
Yeah, I got it on the screen. This is what you see in Disney Plus on at least the computer website. So yeah, there's like TVY, TVY7. Man, there's a lot more ratings than I thought there were.
Yeah, there's a lot of ratings.
Feature title, like what's TVY7FV?
I don't know.
Features, titles rated and below limit. I don't know what's FV. So
FV, maybe violence.
What
violence is
that's below rated G.
Oh, then never mind. Family visions. I don't know.
But
Karen, do you know?
There's a lot of different ratings.
Yeah.
But like when I logged on to Disney Plus after they added it, it automatically took me to like, do you want this account to something? I had to tell it like, yeah, I can see the more mature stuff. So it's not like default on TVMA.
Yeah.
So you'll have to kind of go in and set it. So if you're,
I think it defaults on TV 14 actually, because I noticed that happened. I couldn't see what I was doing because I was sitting on my couch and I can't read anything from my couch. So I had to finally get up and I'm like, oh, I'm rated TV 14 for some reason. And so then I finally changed it. But yeah, it was very interesting.
I'm looking it up. Hold on. No, that's not what I want. What's this one?
While we're looking that up, I'm gonna look back at the comments a little bit to see. Okay.
You were kind of right about it.
I was.
So it's stuff that on for children 7 and under, but like if it has FV, that means whatever it is has fantasy violence.
Oh, okay.
It's now
Okay,
trying to
that
think of
makes sense.
what is on.
But probably without blood.
Like here's a here's a couple examples: Doctor Who, Batman the Animated Series, Star Wars Rebels, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay, that makes sense.
See, Legend of Korra. So they're kids shows, but there's violence in it.
Yeah, but there's no blood.
I guess I don't
Not
know
that
what
I can tell.
Yeah, or the more cartoony or something. But that's interesting.
Good night, Melix.
Good night.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, so very interesting stuff. I'm glad that they're doing it, though.
Yeah, it's less. I think we talked about it before. Like, it's less confusing to have all the Marvel stuff in one place. So like, here's some of the Marvel stuff, but you have to go to Hulu to watch some other stuff. Not everyone wants Hulu, also, right?
Right.
So I'm glad that it's all in one spot.
Yeah, I am too.
And it means like I said, like Deadpool 3 can be rated R.
Yeah.
And you can put it on Disney Plus at some point and under the TV MA rating. So
right. For sure. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our Lucasfilm news before we start our discussion topic, which I can't wait for. So the Kiner brothers, which is Kevin, who composed the Clone Wars and Rebels, right?
Yes.
And then his sons, Sean and Dean, they have revealed some new tidbits about, first of all, season 2 of The Bad Batch. It says that we will see a time jump with Omega appearing older, which I'm kind of glad about because I tend to like the younger characters when they start maturing more, like Ahsoka. Ahsoka, I like much more later in the series than earlier in the series.
True.
And
Ezra,
then,
same way.
yeah, it just kind of just give them a little more maturity, So that's going to be interesting, and that there will be a bigger cast of characters. So that's interesting. Like, does that mean a bigger cast of characters that are um, part of the batch, or does it mean that this is going to be more villains or more, side characters like Fennec Shand or?
I mean, I don't think we've seen the last of Fennec Shand in animated some bounty hunters, but like this, along with Obi-Wan Kenobi, I feel is bridging the gap between the two eras, the prequel era and the original trilogy era. So I think we might see some characters that lead into the original trilogy era.
Yeah, I think
maybe. So.
That reminds me. DC had said about Miss Marvel that is coming out a week after Obi-Wan comes out. Remember how we always talked about these shows are eventually going to overlap? Well,
it is. It starts there.
Yeah.
And we knew it because there's way too many shows on both sides.
Right.
This year, Obi-Wan, Andor, like end of the year is going to be probably Mandalorian. We don't know when Ahsoka's coming out, and then
Andor,
and then Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel.
Ms. Marvel was going to come out in June 8th.
Right. What else is coming out this year? I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting, but yeah. So there's not enough space to space them out. There's not enough time in the calendar year. So yeah, there's going to be some overlap. And I don't think that's going to slow down, especially with the Marvel side of things. So we're going to have, that's why I think we've kind of paused doing shows specifically about each episode because it's gonna be way too much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll figure out something.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and then the Kinder Boys will also be scoring an unannounced Star Wars animated series. So there's going to be more animated series coming up as well, which is great because I think that they fill in gaps that you don't necessarily need a whole movie about.
Yeah.
Or now they're having the television shows, but I don't think that they can produce the shows as much as like the animated series. They'll probably have more episodes.
That and like you couldn't do the Bad Batch live action because there's way too much stuff.
Yeah,
You couldn't do it cheap. That's basically it, right? So with art animation, you can do a lot of stuff you could not do in live action because you don't have to pay for a bunch of extras. You don't have to pay for like that many special effects and whatnot. Computers and whatnot. I'm just hoping that like the one thing I want them to bridge the gap between is the 30 years between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. I think there's a lot of story to tell. And there's books and stuff, but that's like the one that's probably read the least. It's like movies, TV shows, animation, video games, comic books, and then the books, right?
Yeah.
Or something in the High Republic, some era that we've not seen in anything outside of print. That's what I'm hoping for. But I do hope it's also outside of the prequel-ish era. I think we need to go in that 30 years, way, 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 way in the past, or way, way, way in the future, like past the sequel trilogy era. Like what happens 100 years, 200 years after Rey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see. So
hopefully we'll get some of these stories. So
hopefully we'll find out some stuff in Celebration, which I did get tickets for, so I will be going.
I know. So
all 4 days. It was weird. It was like the easiest time I had for getting tickets.
Yeah. I know. I just wish that they would stop selling tickets in the middle of the month when I'm in money jail. Yeah. I want them to sell it at the beginning of the month. So anyway, hopefully I can get a Sunday ticket or something along the line. So just to show up for something. Ginger, thank you so much for joining us for a little bit. We really appreciate it. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to our fun discussion. So Daniel Radcliffe was responding to a fan casting as new Wolverine for the MCU. And he said Wolverine's actually short in the comic books. You should get like a short guy to do it. But I don't see them going for Hugh Jackman to me. But who knows? Prove me wrong, Marvel. So, who knows? So anyway, Rich thought that would be fun since we saw Professor X's earlobe and Patrick Stewart did confirm that was his voice and earlobe in the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness trailer. That they would, they're going to be casting the X-Men soon. It's just a matter of time. Right. So we thought it would be fun to recast, and Rich thought, let's go with the X-Men animated series characters because that's getting a revival soon.
And I feel like most people know those characters. So,
yeah. Although I think that they're going to go first class with
I think they're going to mix it again because there's way too many characters and from so many different eras that are like Because one, Wolverine is gonna be the one. Like otherwise, they're gonna spend years going, "Where's Wolverine? Where's Wolverine? Where's Wolverine? Where's Wolverine?" So if they're gonna do what the first X-Men movie did, is they just mix it up. So but it will be a mix of different eras, I think.
Yeah.
And that's kind of way first, I have a picture that's showing of Daniel Radcliffe in this, grown up form. Because I can't believe he's 32.
No,
he's
that's
always,
so crazy.
always a little boy under the cupboard. But like, true, one, Wolverine is a short dude. And in this picture, I can see it from this picture. Like,
yeah,
he looks rugged enough. Like, he doesn't need to be like Hugh Jackman. The thing about my critique about Hugh Jackman was he was tall, and Wolverine's supposed to be this really short, kind of spunky dude. So,
right.
I would love to see this happen. Actually,
I mean, I think it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say bye, Cammy.
Good night.
Thank you for joining. Yeah. So I think because I think you and I have had two different philosophies in casting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go over, like, you tell me yours, and then I'll tell you mine afterward, because I did a little twist on
mine. Like my full list, and then
yeah.
I just want to do to less confusing. Be like, here's what we picked for Professor X.
What'd you say?
To be less confusing, and also helps the way I set this up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that it will be. I think it'll be interesting to just see who you have, and then I'll explain my philosophy afterward.
No, I think we're both not. So I have this already kind of set up for this presentation.
You mean? Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't know who you have, but I have mine queued up so people can see who we're talking about.
Okay.
I think it'd be less confusing if I have to go back after my list and be like, and then here's who you have for this guy.
Okay. So we'll just go in each order. Well, why don't we talk about our philosophies then?
Okay.
First, you go ahead and talk about like what kind of sparked your choices.
The topic came up just when I was looking at the news stories and like the whole Daniel Radcliffe thing. And like, you know what? Like that in and of itself is kind of like not a news thing we'd normally do, because it's just a reaction of fan casting. But I thought fan casting would be an interesting thing, knowing that the X-Men will eventually come to the MCU and how they would cast it if it was cast today. So I went with Daniel Radcliffe as Logan.
Okay, yeah, that's what I kind of just like. I didn't cast a Wolverine. I just kind of because I think he would fit in my universe.
Yeah. So if Wolverine's around 32, I'm looking at all the rest of the core X-Men ish as around their 30s as well. But I also wanted to throw in Jubilee, which is in the animated series, but she's much younger, right?
Yeah.
And I think we both threw in characters that would also be around her age. So I cast Jubilee as a teenager.
Right.
But Professor X and Magneto I have as kind of older also. That's not only my philosophy was just how would I cast these characters with actors who are in their 30-ish is for the most part. That's like based on Logan being 32.
Right. So the way that I did it was I actually was looking, I was kind of like, who would I cast? And I'm like looking through actors that, kind of look like who the characters are. And then I was like thinking about how they cast the Eternals and how there was kind of colorblind casting on the Eternals. made them very diverse. So I decided to go with colorblind casting for mine and kind of change the races on some of these characters. And I just thought it would be fun. I don't know if, if how they're going to do it. I have a feeling that some of the characters are at least going to be their race is going to be changed. Just because I think they're trying to add more diversity to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
So we'll see. But anyway, I just want to say hi to Nadia. Thank you for joining us. And let's go. Let's get to it. You go first. We're talking about Professor X first.
So yeah, our first one's Professor X. My choice is. Let me see if I can do this correctly here. Ewan McGregor.
Oh.
Look, I know that what's his name? One, Patrick Stewart's going to be in the MCU. Sort of. We don't know exactly, but he's much older now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a franchise of the X-Men. We need someone who's going to be able to be in multiple movies, and we don't know how long Patrick Stewart is going to want to act at this point, right? He already has a series going, so and then also James McAvoy. I think we're past that at this point. I think that's done their thing, and so I didn't want to recast McAvoy and Fassbender as anything, or the other X-Men that were in the later X-Men movies, in the Fox movies, right? So, what's interesting, like there's two people I thought for this role, but I went with him because I felt like I want to see him in a Marvel movie.
Got it. All right, so here is who I chose. I chose Danny Glover, the veteran actor, not Donnie Glover, but Danny Glover, the veteran actor. I think that he has a gravitas. I think he has the intellect of being a Professor X. And I'm super excited about that. And yeah, I just think that he would be a really cool Professor X. Do I think realistically they're going to do that? No. But I just thought it would be fun to mention him.
I gotcha. It's a very young Professor X.
Huh?
Like, that's a very young Professor X.
Yeah.
My thing was like, okay, Professor X is the headmaster of a school. Then the core group would be the teachers, and then we had a young group that was like the students.
Right.
Or what am I talking about? Nothing. I'm just ahead. Donald Glover. Yeah, I actually saw your thing and I agreed. That'd be kind of cool. Plus, I haven't seen it for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about every time I think of like Mel Gibson, I'm like, what happened to Danny Glover? Like, he should be in more things.
Right. I know. He's such a great actor. He really is a great actor. He really is a great actor. So, yeah, I can totally see him as a Professor X if they ever went with that, Like, if there was anybody in the African American community that they would choose, I would think that Danny Glover would be on the top.
Trying to think. Yeah. Or Delroy Lindo.
Who?
Delroy
Lindo? Yeah, maybe.
Let's try to think of an older actor who has a little bit of a presence. Yeah. No, but I think Danny Glover is a good choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. All right, let's go ahead with Magneto. And if anybody in the chat has, a thought of who you'd want to cast, shout it out there. I would love to hear it.
Indeed. My choice for Magneto, I hope I did this right. Maybe I did this right. There you go.
Oh, Jason Isaac.
One,
yeah, he would be good.
He's a good villain. Two, like when he plays a good guy, I like him really as a good guy. And Magneto kind of crosses the line between good and evil. Like he's got some good in him, and his philosophy is technically good for one group of people, but the evil comes out when it's just about the mutants, and how he views them in society or whatever. And I think him versus Ewan McGregor, I just want to see that. I just want to see that happen.
Yeah. That would be a pretty epic battle. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
All right. So who I chose was Ray Fiennes. I think he would be a pretty good Magneto. And up against Danny Glover. Hello. Look at that.
He was my second choice for Professor X, actually.
Yeah, he was actually I had originally Jason Isaacs as Professor X, and I always had Ray Fiennes as Magneto, but yeah, I think that he'd be an interesting. He's like also kind of walks a line between good and evil.
Yeah, and, he's Voldemort. At the same time, he's also M in Bond.
So I think that he would be excellent in that role as well. So I think we're coming up with some good casting. This is actually much more exciting than I thought it was going to be.
Like, I definitely want to see these.
When you first talked about it, I'm like, I can't think of anybody. I cannot think of anybody. So I'm like, I just started pouring through actors, and then that's when my started going.
I felt a little creepy going like young actresses.
Yeah. I know.
Like, this is not good.
Actresses under 20.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about Jean Grey. And who was your choice?
So now we're heading into what I thought would be like the teacher. So if you have the older, and Ewan McGregor's 50, Jason Isaacs I think a little bit older or around the same age. So now I'm looking at 30-year-olds for who would be what I think is going to happen is like we're not going to start the X-Men right at the beginning. I think because it's hard to explain that into the MCU that all of a sudden some dude's going to start a school for these people. So I think what's going to happen is there's going to be some kind of weird multiversal thing, and they'll just be these mutants who've already gone through things, but they're now in the MCU, right? So, like that eliminates the problem of just starting with the first class, which is Jean Grey, Cyclops, Iceman, Angel, and Beast, right? Because people are going to want to see Rogue, people want to see Gambit, people are going to want to see Wolverine. That's why I went with the animated series, because that's what the series. They started with these characters in this show.
Yeah.
With most of these being like teachers, right? So 30-year-old-ish, 30s Jean Grey, I came up with Evan Rachel Wood.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I really liked her in Westworld.
Yeah. She's really good in Westworld.
But she's Anna Elsa's mom.
Right, exactly. And she can sing. So if they ever do a musical episode, or a musical, then we got the right actors.
Yeah,
I think she would be perfect.
Nice.
And that's a good picture of her. She's got red
Yeah,
hair
I
there
was
because
looking
I'm
for
used to her with the blonde hair.
yeah. So that's what I go for.
Okay, so I chose Cersei Ronan. Oop, what did I do here? No.
Which was one of my other choices for her.
Yeah, I think she just has that kind of ethereal thing going for her, and she's a great actress as well.
But like because going through this, I shifted a lot of my choices, right? So Saoirse was my Jean Grey for a while, and then then I'm like, maybe she's a little too young for what I'm going for. Then I tried to find another place for her. And when it's not one of my things I listed, but like then I'm like, she could be Siren.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I think she would be good, but I actually kind of like Evan Wood better now that you brought
Like
her up.
if they brought Siren on,
Yeah.
like if you read some of the Deadpool comics, like Siren is a character that pops up with Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually hoping that Deadpool brings in maybe her as Siren or something like that. Someone is Siren because I feel like I like that pairing in the comic books. And this is talking like
Right.
some of the first Deadpool comics.
I was just at the comic book store, and they had a comic book with her on the title. I mean, on the title, on the
Oh,
cover. Yeah,
that's cool.
and I almost picked it up because I always liked Banshee when I was younger.
Yeah.
But
And
then and then
plus,
Siren.
she has the accent.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. He
Right?
does.
She wouldn't have to try to hide it or try to do something else. Or listen to someone trying to do that accent.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, on to Cyclops.
I'm trying to get yours in here
Okay.
faster than normal. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Nope. Okay. I think I got this.
Thanks so much, Karen, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Good night.
And thanks for doing a shout out for likes. Okay, so Cyclops.
Stick in the mud.
Yeah.
I picked a Scott Eastwood.
Oh, who is that? I don't know who that is.
That was Clint Eastwood's son.
Oh my god. Oh, he's very good looking.
Because I wanted that kind of like Cyclops, I feel like has that quintessential superhero chiseled face.
Yeah.
And then you just put a visor on him.
Yeah, I can totally see it. I mean, like with that look, I can totally see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would totally work. What movies has he been in? I'm gonna have to look him up later. I'll look him up later.
Yeah. I had it somewhere. Now I don't remember
Yeah.
where I put it. Like what he's been in. Hold on. I can tell you. Or maybe I can't. No, I didn't write it. But and this goes like the age ranges. Avery Rachel Wood's 34, Scott
Mm-hmm.
35.
Yeah.
So again, that would be the pairing.
Gotcha. So I went with Taron Egerton, and very kind of milk toast, but still great actor. And I think that he would give more gravitas to Cyclops, which is what I always hope. I always liked Cyclops. Like he was always one of my favorite characters
I never did.
You never liked Cyclops?
I never liked Cyclops.
I liked him like when in first class. Like I just thought that I was looked up to him, and he was always the more mature one of the. Well, I guess Beast also, but he was more of a, I don't know, like a leader. He was, he had to be the leader because God forbid Ms. Marvel be the leader. And yeah, I think that I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for Cyclops.
Gotcha. I mean, I like him. He was one of the other actors that popped up for other roles.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, he's already kind of has his own franchise-ish, even though he's not in the newest movie, but in the Kingsman, he's kind of like a superhero spy guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, eh.
All right. So Beast.
I went with.
Oh, that was a good image to go with.
Yeah. Because I'm like wondering if they're gonna do like if you're gonna have him as Beast the whole time, or if we're gonna do like when he wasn't blue and furry first.
Mm-hmm.
But I went with and I'm probably gonna butcher the name, but Raul Cooley. If you watched, oh my god, what's that? A DC comic with the undead girl.
Oh, iZombie.
Yeah, he was an iZombie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I totally know who that is. Okay.
It's also a Netflix show. There's like a recent Netflix show that he's on. Where he's like a sheriff or something.
Yeah.
No,
I think I can see him just by the iZombie. I can see that. I can see it.
And plus, he's a big nerd. Like I follow him, and he's got like a bunch of podcasts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really big nerd. Like he's one of the people that he started a controversy because people fan cast him as an older Ezra Bridger, right?
Yeah.
And so he posted something kind of tongue in cheek that people thought like he was cast as Ezra Bridger. He's like, no. It's like,
that's funny. I could see him as Ezra Bridger too.
Right. So if he's not going to get Ezra
like
Bridger,
an older Ezra Bridger,
right, which is what we're probably going to see in Ahsoka.
True, yeah, because that's right.
If
that's what he
did. I mean, it could still happen. Who knows? But like, right. Ever since he did like that fan casting and whatever, I'm like, he needs to be in a Star Wars or a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a cool Beast.
Okay.
Let's play a doctor-ish.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so this is where I start really color blind casting. I went with Henry Golding because I think he has that kind of intellectual look, but yet has the same, like, he, despite his appearance and Snake Eyes, I think that he could. What?
We don't talk about Snake Eyes.
We don't talk about Snake Eyes, just like we don't talk about Bruno. Yeah, I think he could have the physical prowess to do it.
I can see that. Like I like him.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see Snake Eyes, so I don't know. But like, I don't like it's a weird thing where I'm like, all right, he is an Asian descent, so it makes sense that a ninja would be Asian. But like, Snake Eyes' specific story is that he's not.
Yeah.
And then when you do that, it just changes his story. It's no longer Snake Eyes. Like, if you want to make him Storm Shadow, sure.
Right.
Or something that makes a little more sense. But I like him. I liked him I've only seen him in a couple things, but like, It's funny again. He's another name that came up when I was looking for casting for things. And I was just trying to like. There's a wide range of X-Men characters, so I'm like, there's someone he can play. I just don't know who on the top of my head.
Mhm.
Because then I was like, I also thought about him for Cyclops. Then I'm like, but I don't like Cyclops.
Right.
And I'm like, I know who Scott Eastwood is. I haven't really. I'm not like, oh, I really like that guy. He's like, all right. He looks like a Cyclops.
Yeah, he does look like Cyclops for sure.
I like Henry Golding, so I'm like, I don't want to play someone I don't like.
Right.
And it's not like he's a villain. It's just, I don't like Scott Summers.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But,
Poor Scott Summers.
that's just me. Some people do. That's fine. Especially like later Scott Summers when he's, I don't know. He just seems like he gets around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he's with Jean Grey. Oh, no, he's with Emma Frost. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just not a big fan. So I don't want to cast somebody I like it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Gambit.
Hold on.
Okay.
Like I am literally finding pictures for your things right as we go along.
Oh, okay.
All right, Gambit.
Okay.
So this one was the hardest one for me because I'm like, I don't know who can play Gambit. One, I know I don't want Channing Tatum. Two,
thank you.
Taylor, the one who played him in Wolverine Origin. No.
Yeah. Although I would rather have him over Channing Tatum.
Yeah. I'm like, somebody needs to be able to do an accent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, compare, like, it could be easily to cast someone you could also cast as Cyclops. As your typical kind of like white superhero dude.
Right.
So I'm like, well, it'd be fun to see at some point is like if they ever met in the MCU, is if Thor met Gambit and Gambit was played by his brother.
Oh my god, that would be great. Is that Liam?
Yeah, so that was Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah.
He's Australian, so he's got an accent, so maybe he can do a Cajun accent easier.
Probably.
Hopefully, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my choice.
For sure. So I went with John Boyega Finn from the Star Wars sequel movies. And I guess he's a big nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And he's I think he's a great actor. He didn't get his I think he didn't get the respect that he should have had on Star Wars. Like I just feel like
at least not from the production of it. I just think we introduced some great characters in Force Awakens that didn't do anything much.
And in the Last Jedi, and then in the last episode, they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like,
so there's a lot of wasted opportunities, and I do like John Boyega a lot. So,
I think he could do a Cajun accent.
I mean, him going from his normal accent to like an American accent is almost flawless, right?
Right. Because people forget he's British.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a big nerd. He's also a nerd. So
yeah, he's always like to post those things. So I just thought he was like when I was going through the list of characters, he was the one that made me think you know what? Let me just go ahead and colorblind cast some of these things because I was just like I was going through actors. I'm like, I don't know, and then I thought, what if there's any African American actors that could do it? And I'm like, oh yeah, John Boyega, I could see it. And then I just thought, let's just go ahead and just totally colorblind cast some of this cast. So yeah, I just think it would be great. Good. All right, let's move on to Rogue.
Talk amongst yourself for a second.
Okay, blah 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 blah. Anybody doing anything interesting over the weekend? Let us know in the chat. I don't even know who's here still. I know a lot of people had to go to bed. DC, are you still here? Let me know. Nadia, are you still here? Okay, we got Rogue up there.
Well, before we do this,
Okay.
Is your Rogue the Rogue from the because I said animated series, but for a list of characters, but do you prefer Rogue before she got Ms. Marvel's powers or when she has Ms. Marvel's powers?
Well, see, I'm actually not sure what power she had before and what power she had.
Like her power is the touching, the siphon.
Yeah, and then after that she could fly, right?
She touched Ms. Marvel and gained her powers along with her, so she gained the super strength, the flight power, basically.
Yeah.
So that's who I think most people know her as. Whereas in the X-Men movie, all she was the siphon. She can siphon powers and stuff. And then they just totally got rid of her.
Right.
Weirdest way possible, but whatever.
Yeah, I didn't really. I just thought of Rogue in general. I didn't really think of could she fly or did she have super strength or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to what they would do in the MCU, and I hope they bring the Rogue that most people know. I think it was animated series, 90s X-Men Rogue. So this right here, basically.
Yeah.
I went with Lily James.
Wait, who's that?
Lily James.
Lily Bangs?
James.
Lily James. Oh, is that Cinderella?
Sure. I know her from she was in oh my god, what's that movie? It's directed by Edgar Wright. Baby Driver.
Oh, okay.
Well, she's also famously right now, she plays Pamela Anderson on that show with Sebastian Stan. Pam and
oh, that's who she's playing what's her name?
Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson?
Yarp.
Gotcha. Yeah, she played Cinderella. That was her breakthrough role.
I didn't watch that.
Title role.
I don't know. I know from other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, she's around the same age as Liam, so
yeah.
So that's what I went with.
I like it. Okay, so this is a little unconventional, but I went for Rogue. I went with Issa Rae, who is an actress and she's a producer. And I just think that she and John Boyega could look really good together and, create this kind of Cajun Southern dynamo thing. And yeah, I think it's kind of like it. I thought she doesn't have to be a Southern, like a white Southern Belle. She can be a black Southern Belle.
Right on.
Yeah. So anyway, I like her.
I'm not familiar with her.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with her, but I recognized her, and I said, okay, I can kind of see in her, I can kind of see it. All right, let's go on to Storm.
So Storm's a weird one because she might have been cast in the MCU already.
Really? Like, what do you mean?
So there's an actress that was cast in Wakanda Forever. We don't know who she's playing, but people are speculating that's Storm.
Well, do you know what the actress name is?
Yes, I do. Oops. What's her name? Her name is Michaela Cole.
Okay. I saw her name while I was doing research.
Yeah, so she's cast in the MCU as somebody.
Interesting.
So again,
People are saying it's Storm.
speculating that she is Storm. If so, cool.
Yeah.
But if not, my choice was I can't pronounce her name. Janelle Monáe.
Oh yeah. Monet, I think it is.
She was in oh my god, why am I
Yeah, I know her too. I can't think of her.
Hidden Figures? Is that it?
What was it?
Hidden Figures? Is that the name of the movie? The NASA movie?
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures?
Yeah, I think she was in that movie.
She's also in that Steve Carell doll movie. Do you ever see that?
I don't.
Well, he was like a photographer.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But
I didn't see it, but I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in her 30s, so it fits with the rest of the cast as like that generation.
Yeah, that works for me. I went with like an upcomer, Cynthia Erivo. I think she's got the look for it. I think that she's a really beautiful woman.
I've seen her before.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of. I think her breakout role was Harriet in the Harriet Tubman movie, which was really good. So yeah, I really think that she's great. I think she's an upcomer. I can see Marvel wanting to get her involved in some way, and Storm would be a good way to have her. Either that or Wakanda Forever.
Right.
So, yeah.
Dig it.
Okay. Let's go on to. So those were kind of the big names, and then I picked out a couple of names, other names, and so did you. So let's go over the ones that we have in common. So let's start off with Jubilee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna go with animated series Jubilee pre-vampire or werewolf or whatever she became.
Yeah, that's what I didn't. Yeah, I'm into young, like just getting into Jubilee.
So I went with Disney star.
Oh, that would be fun. Oh, that's Peyton.
Peyton yeah, in Doogie Howser.
Yeah,
and that she was in that other Disney movie with like
the Secret Society, something. Yeah, she was in that.
So I figure she's in the family already.
Yeah, which is funny because I also chose somebody that's in the family, and that's Piper Curta, and she has been in a lot of different Disney Channel shows, and I think that she's probably getting to the point where she wants to break out and do something a little more with her career. And getting into the Marvel Cinematic Universe might be a good way to do it. So, yeah, I'm for it.
Cool.
Okay. Another one we have in common is Kitty Pryde.
Right. Let me see if I got this queued up. I do not. Why don't you explain who Kitty Pryde is?
What?
Why don't you explain who Kitty Pryde is while I do these?
Okay, yeah. Kitty Pryde is a character in the Marvel Cinematic. I mean, in Marvel Comics in the X-Men universe who has the power to phase. She can make her any part of her body intangible, and if whenever anybody asks me if I want to have a superpower, hers is a superpower I want.
Really?
I want the power of intangibility to move through things. And also, if I had to kill somebody, I could just reach into their chest, pull their heart out, and it's done.
That got dark. Okie doke.
I don't know why my brain comes up with these things.
Interesting.
So, anywho, who was your choice for Kitty Pryde?
I picked Olivia Cook, who I know from Ready Player One.
Yeah.
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 So I'm looking at Kitty Pryde, and I actually cast also Colossus, but like as the older-ish students.
Yeah,
I did. If we had 30-year-old people, they're like the teachers, and she would be like a senior or whatever.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking at. Whereas Jubilee, I would be younger then.
She would be a freshman,
or sophomore, something, whatever. So yeah, I went with Olivia Cook.
Yeah, I like it. And I went with Elle Fanning, who I think just has a great. What the hell happened there? She has just this ability to be innocent and not so innocent at the same time. And I think that she would be a lot of fun. And she's beautiful.
She's my favorite Fanning sister.
She's your what?
My favorite Fanning sister.
Your third favorite Fanning sister?
No, my favorite Fanning sister.
Oh yeah, she is. Yeah, and she's been in a lot of. Have you seen what is that? The Great. I think it's called The Great, or basically she plays this Catherine the Great, but it's kind of a comedic
version. Role. Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I've seen her in other things. Like when I first saw her, when she was in We Bought a Zoo. So
yeah,
and then she's not as creepy as her sister. And then she was in Super 8.
In what?
Oh, Super 8. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
The J.J. Abrams I Want to Be Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
I like her there. So.
Yeah, I kind of cast her as an older student as well.
Right.
Okay, moving on to next one that we have in common is Iceman.
Once again, talk about Iceman before.
Okay, Iceman is from the original class of X-Men. So the first class was Cyclops, Jean Grey, Ms. Marvel, as she was, Iceman, Cyclops. Angel and Beast. And Iceman had the power to control ice and generate ice, I should say. Actually, has the power to control and, more importantly, generate ice. And his second mutation was being covered in the ice, um, like an ice armor.
Yeah, he is one of the more powerful mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the longest time, he held his power back until Emma Frost kind of told him, like, you're more powerful than this.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen other iterations of him where he's like super, super powerful.
That's why I always said that Zan from the Wonder Twins could have been one of the most powerful superheroes in the world if he didn't keep changing himself into a bucket of water, because he could do ice powers as well, but he never decided to use those powers. So anyway, sorry, I had to gripe about that.
So he was played in the original X-Men movies by one of the Ashmore brothers. I can't remember which one.
Sean.
Okay. Which I liked, but obviously, being many years later, we had to recast, and I cast him young, even though in canon he should be the same age around like the first class, but I made him a younger student. Because I think it would be interesting for him to be younger in a state where he's trying to control his powers.
Yeah.
So I cast a kid that I know from Stranger Things, and that's Noah Schnapp.
Oh yeah, that's such an interesting picture of him. He looks so different.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Right, I think he's in his late teens, so it still looks young. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I think I can see that as well.
It's Bobby Drake.
Bobby Drake. All right, so I chose a total kind of like star that is has starred in more kind of Japanese stuff, but he's the son of Sonny Chiba, the Japanese actor and martial artist, and his name is Makenyu Arata, and he's I think he's like he would be a little bit more of an older Bobby Drake, or Bobby whatever they would call him now. And they'd probably still call him Bobby Drake. They always do that with Asian characters in movies. Like they always have the name that they originally wrote them for. It's like, so I guess it would be interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. Like when I was finished with my list, I'm like, I wanted to go back and do kind of what you did. Maybe I should like mix things up. But I'm like, I only have enough time to think about it, so I went with on my list. But like, I do like changing things up. So I would be fine with.
I think that they are going to change some of it up. I mean, like, it's just a matter of who.
Yeah, like it's. I've gotten over any kind of like making it look like the comic character to at least make him the essence of the character.
The spirit of the character.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, for example, Michael B. Jordan as Firestorm didn't work, not because he's black, it's because the character was not Johnny Storm. Like if they played him as Johnny Storm, the fun-loving kind of daredevil-y, like, happy-go-lucky guy,
Yeah.
fine. At least it's the character I knew, but he turned into a brooding whatever that was.
Right.
So, like, I got over Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry because to me, I'm like, all right, he feels like Aquaman, so I'm good.
It's just the newer Aquaman now, because like you and I think are so used to Arthur Curry, the one with the short hair and whatever.
Yeah.
But then eventually they changed him. They gave him a hook hand, all this stuff, and so I think that it falls more in line with that.
Plus, have you ever watched Brave and the Bold, the animated series? Aquaman. I love that version of Aquaman, and he's like this boastful, like almost narcissistic but naive, king. And so, like, Jason Momoa, like, all right, like it combined a lot of different versions of Aquaman that I liked. So
exactly.
But yeah, I like Michael B. Jordan. He was great as Killmonger, but he was a terrible. Well, he started as a terribly written Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was it too. It was just a badly written.
Yeah.
It wasn't Michael B. Jordan. It was just
because like he's good.
Huh?
No, because Michael B. Jordan.
He's a great actor. Yeah, he's a great actor.
I love that guy.
Him in that movie didn't work.
The rest of the movie didn't work either. So
yeah, the rest of the movie didn't work. So it's just
God.
It's not just him. It was a whole bunch.
I cannot wait until the MCU version of the Fantastic Four comes out, and hopefully we can say definitively that The Incredibles is not the best Fantastic Four movie.
I know that would be great to finally trump The Incredibles.
And believe me, The Incredibles is still one of my top superhero movies. So,
oh yeah, for me too, and it will always be.
Yeah, like even if the Fantastic Four is not like, as long as the Fantastic Four feels like the Fantastic Four, that can still be the number one Fantastic Four movie. But The Incredibles could still also then be one of my favorite superhero movies.
Yeah, for real.
Right. So,
yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Okay, the final one that we have in common, and this was the final one for me, was Firestar. And Firestar is a character I think was originally created for Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends, and then they retconned her into the comics. But because they needed somebody that was the opposite of Iceman, so they created Firestar, who has fire powers, and so that's her right there. And we included them because Rich has a fantasy of a live-action Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends.
Like, it doesn't even have to be Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends, like a movie or a TV show. It could just be Tom Holland on screen with the MCU Iceman and a Firestar.
Yeah,
and I like have them stand on something next to each other, and I'd be satisfied. I'd be like, "Oh my god, there they are!"
Yeah,
because as a kid, Spider-Man, like it was like my big three. Well, four actually. Well, five. Okay, there's 5 superheroes as a kid that I grew up with, and that's the Incredible Hulk, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. Linda Carter. Who is Hulk? Bill Bixby? Well, David.
yeah.
Bill Bixby, is that his name?
Bill Bixby, yeah.
Yeah, so Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. But then, Adam West and Super Friends Batman, Christopher Reeve and Super Friends Superman, and then the many incarnations of Spider-Man in animated form were my superheroes. So I absolutely loved Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends, because then he gave us then Iceman and Firestar.
Yeah.
So here you go.
Yeah.
So I was trying to like, this is another hard one, and I'm like, I don't know anyone. Like, everyone I could cast as Firestar would be older, but then I'm like, I cast Bobby Drake really young, so I'm like, I need to find someone around the same age, and I'm like, duh. If I'm gonna cast someone from Stranger Things, I might as well cast Sadie Sink, who's also from Stranger Things, as Fire.
Oh yeah, she would be a good Firestar.
Around the same age. And like I feel like they're like, it doesn't have to be, like I said, it's not that it would be Tom Holland and those two. It would be like just Tom Holland as Spider-Man meeting a young Iceman and Firestar.
Mm-hmm.
They can look up to him as being, oh, that's Spider-Man. So that's all. Yeah.
Good choice. Good choice. Okay, so I chose Bella Thorne. Yes, the one who starred with Zendaya in Shake It Up. And she is a Disney Channel star, but she's trying to break out of that. She's also Cuban American, interestingly enough. And I think that her hair is naturally red. So she's Cuban, but she's got like all these like English, Scottish, whatever, blah. Blood from her mother's side. So, but yeah, I'm all for giving former Disney Channel stars a chance. And
I mean, it's worked with a bunch of them.
Yeah,
so,
it has.
I remember, like, Zendaya being like on the tip of everyone's tongue because of Spider-Man right now.
Zendaya, Selena Gomez. She's in Hulu's Only Murders in the Building,
which I love, and you can watch it.
Great show.
I was actually trying to find a role for her, and I'm like, there are, but then I'd be going down a rabbit hole of X-Men characters that are like a mile long. So
yeah, I almost cast her as something, but I can't remember which one I cast her as.
Yeah,
I think it was actually Firestar. I almost cast her as. Yeah, because I was looking for a Latina actress for Firestar.
It might have been that too, but then I was like, I need someone younger.
Yeah.
So I don't. It all depends. Like, again, fan casting. So they could go a different direction. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. So you have a few characters that I did not cast for, but I wish that I did.
Only to round out what we've done, and I just wanted to throw in two people that I wanted in the MCU.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's see who I did first. So one is Nightcrawler.
Yes.
Who still to this day, the opening of X-Men 2 with Nightcrawler is one of the best superhero scenes, and the most, like, when you think of we only knew Nightcrawler really from the comic books, but like everything about that scene felt like Nightcrawler.
Even the band,
the sound he made,
the band,
like they perfectly, like the thing X-Men did, like two sounds that they did perfectly was Wolverine's claws, and the sound of Nightcrawler's like poof bam thing.
Bamf. Yeah, that's what they call it, bamf. Bamf.
So I'm like, I don't know who's on the top. Alan Cummings. But, yeah.
Who, interestingly enough, when people said that he was cast, I said, "You gotta be crazy! How could he be cast as Nightcrawler?"
Really?
But he really, that's where you have to say to yourself, sometimes you got to think beyond the box, because he was an excellent Nightcrawler, and I wish that he would have come back for 3.
I think it's funny. Like I didn't have a problem with it because my only place I really knew him was he played Boris in GoldenEye. And he was this Russian weirdo character. So I'm like, you could probably do a German accent. And killed it. Like I loved his version of Nightcrawler. Yeah. So it was very hard, but I'm like, I want to see what this guy does in MCU. I'm like, he could probably play a Nightcrawler. because I loved him in Dune. And that is Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet.
Yes. So there you go. That is my cast for Nightcrawler. Plus, he would also fall into kind of like the older student crowd.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then if we had Kitty Pryde, I had to cast Colossus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which this is also a hard one because I'm like, I don't know who can play him. So I went back to the well and went back to Stranger Things.
Interesting. Okay. Who did
I don't know I can't pronounce his name. What's his name?
I don't know who's
Dacker Montgomery. He played like in season 3.
Yeah.
Was it 3? What's the one they like spent a lot of time in the mall at the end? Was that 3?
I think so. I think it's 3.
He's Sadie's older brother. He's
okay.
So I'm like, all right, let's play out this guy because I can't think of anyone else.
Okay, I can see that.
And then my last one. Wait.
Yeah, I want to know this one because Dazzler is one of my favorite, like X-Men. I mean, I knew her before the X-Men. I knew her when she was. I have Dazzler #1 somewhere in my house. Yeah, it's like I've just always loved her, and she was supposed to. That was a property that they were developing for a movie for Bo Derek. And she was supposed to be Dazzler.
That's right.
Yeah. And
you want to explain?
I love Disco Dazzler though. That's my Dazzler.
I like I was trying to find, but I did this really quickly before the show, so I couldn't find it. But like my Dazzler is like early 80s Dazzler.
Yeah.
So past the disco, and this has got to be like a newer version of her. But this is the one where I didn't cast to race, and only because I also wanted this person in the MCU, and can sing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, and I'm going to get her name wrong because I can never pronounce these things. Ali.
Oh, Ali Colado. Yes, that's a good. I actually wanted to cast her as something as well.
Yeah.
I think she's such a.
Yeah, I did too. I'm like, I don't know where to cast her. Then I'm like, I'm just gonna put Dazzler in her because like have her play like a singer. I guess if it's modern, she'd probably be like a pop princess.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be. Yeah, because her role would involve a lot of singing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I just. Oh God, the travesty of Dazzler in Dark Phoenix. Well, that was the only good part of Dark Phoenix, I should say. So it's not really a travesty.
I still have not brought myself to watch that.
It's just worth it just for the Dazzler.
Who plays Dazzler in Dark Phoenix?
I forget who plays her. But
also, we got robbed of the Dazzler Tigra animated series that was supposed to be on Hulu. Remember those it was like Howard the Duck. They had part of the MODOK, Hit Monkey,
right?
And Tigra, I think, was the other one, and then I feel like there was another one. Hit Monkey, MODOK.
Hit Monkey is still coming.
Yeah, so the two that are still coming. Oh yeah, it was Hit Monkey, MODOK, which those two are happening, but then Dazzler and Tigra, and then also Howard the Duck were the ones that canceled.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the line, there is stories that they wrote for Dazzler.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping we get something because
I hope
in an MCU world where you can have things dark, some dark stories, but then you also have Ms. Marvel, right?
Yeah,
And like it
yeah.
runs like this whole spectrum of different kind of feelings of movies, like dark to fun to young kids to whimsical. Dazzler is about the, like they can do a Dazzler or something. They can bring that character in.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, yeah. So
Yeah,
there
they
you go.
can. But I want Disco Dazzler. I want them to do a period piece in the 1970s where she's a disco queen. I
I
think
mean,
it
music, they could bring it back. Like I feel
yeah,
like
it is making her comeback.
I feel like there's lots of hints of it in more modern stuff. Like the weekend story song on the Ms.
Yeah,
Marvel trailer sounds very
80s.
80s, disco-y like
Yeah,
vibe. So I feel like they can do it as like she's like a retro. She's trying to bring it back.
right.
Never know.
I
So
would love that. I would love
yeah, bring in Moana.
that. Yeah. All right, good. Good times. Well, anything else you want to bring up?
No, I would say in the comments if you're watching this, which most people are going to watch in the replay, who would you cast as some of the people we cast, or
Yeah.
are there other characters you want you have a particular actor that would be right for in the X-Men universe? Because literally, Lauren and I could go on forever about a whole bunch of characters.
Right.
Like the thing about the X-Men, there's tons of X-Men. Like when I was collecting, there were like 9 X titles.
Yeah.
These are not like individual people; it's teams. So like 9 teams of X, like mutants teams.
And there's even more.
I'm sure. Like I haven't kept up, but like when I was collecting, it was like there was 2 separate X-Men teams,
Right.
gold and blue, with different rosters: Excalibur, X Factor, X Force, New Mutants. Who else? I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot. Excalibur.
You go to Canada and be like Alpha Flight.
Yeah, Alpha Flight was. Oh, that's another title that I hope that they do. Alpha Flight, but I hope they do it a little Guardians of the Galaxy. Make it a little humorous.
I feel like it needs to be. Like that feeling.
It needs to be a little bit humorous. I think that would be so good. But still respectful to Canadians. I mean, yeah. I mean, but just have that kind of Canadian humor. I mean, Canada is the home of Second City, and all these other things.
Second City, Chicago.
Not Second City. What is it? What's the one that
oh my god.
Yeah, that Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy were part of. Anyway, Canadians are funny, and if you were not watching Schitt's Creek, then I don't know what to tell you. So that's where I think that it would be good to have that kind of Canadian humor.
SCTV.
SCTV, that's it. That's why I'm thinking
Second City.
Yeah, Second City. Yeah, I when I was saying it, I'm like, no, that's not quite right.
Yeah, Catherine Eugene Levy wasn't the on there go. I can't remember names, but yeah, there's a lot of great Canadians that came from.
Yeah, they had a lot of that came out of that. So anyway, yeah, let us know in the comments who you would want. And you don't even have to stop with ours. If you want to fan cast the entire X-Men universe, go ahead, leave it in the comments.
Yeah,
so, anyway,
that'd be fun. Who knows? I might add some more in the comments myself if you do.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So I had to cut myself off quickly.
I know. I was like, well, I wish I didn't start today because I think I could have like increased that list quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I had to do some other editing, so I just went with those. But yeah. All right. Well, if you have not subscribed already, we'd love it if you would subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post. Thank you so much for joining us. Visit us on all of our socials down below. Visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. One day I'll actually update it. And with that, we will see you later. Bye.
Catch you on the flip side.